face a whole lot more in life than we probably ever face. You know, I look at that in you know, with what they're going through with COVID and some of the things that they've already seen in life right now, just to have some of those tight friendships. And then, you know, when they get into that junior high and high school arena, that they've already got some camaraderies already made. And then obviously the game and the skill of football, you know, we definitely take it serious. You know, we have Super Bowl champions every single year. You know, I can tell you that youth football when I was growing up was a, you know, start in August type situation into July and get done in October, November, but not now.
Right.
We've got kids that are, you know, my son trains with a personal trainer during the off season. 7-on-7 football actually starts for us here in just a couple of weeks. And, you know, about 4 months out of the year, there's no football, but outside of that, football has turned to year round, and that's just kind of merging into what other sports do.
Yeah,
I know these
baseball's
baseball
done it,
kids
yeah.
are all the time in soccer and stuff like
we
that.
were year round when ours was doing it too.
Yeah.
I mean, it went from there's just the season, and then it was all of a sudden we were playing baseball all the time,
24/7 in tournaments. And you know, over Christmas break, you know, a couple of our kids played in a football tournament, which was really cool. And you know,
it
going
keeps
from
them
there,
busy and staying out of trouble.
you know, it does. It really does. You know, thankful for that as far as that goes. And, you know, I can talk for the Burleson coaches, you know, so we're the Burleson Boys and Girls Club football and cheer. Most people know our field because our field backs up right next to the church down here in Old Town Burleson. I can't remember the church name off the top of my head, but Pastor Troy Brewer, I know, is the church there.
Open Door.
Open Door, yeah.
Okay, you're playing at Open Door.
Yeah,
okay.
So we're the field right behind Open Door. We are fortunate. One of the things that helped us during COVID is all of our field stuff we own. And that was what really helped us be able to survive the COVID stuff. And so all of that field back there, you know, we own it, but we have to take care of it. And you know, when we had the big, you know, I guess we're looking forward to Snowmageddon 2 tomorrow,
right?
When we had that last year, you know, a lot of people don't know this, but you know, we probably had $10,000, maybe $15,000 worth of repairs that we had to do.
Oh wow!
And as a non-for-profit, that hurt.
You guys have turf back there, or
no,
like a turfalo, or
no, we don't. It's natural grass. You know, one of the things that every year us as a board in Burleson, we look for, you know, ways to improve. And you know, unfortunately, you know, money wise, we don't really go out and get a lot of donations, which that's part of the reason why we want to do this show, to help all the towns. You know, if people want to advertise and donate to help these youth organizations, we hope by bringing some light to the needs that they have. But we're old school grass field in the back.
Awesome.
And
which
you know,
still requires repair.
Yeah.
I mean, because
oh man,
when when weather hits like ice and snow, I mean, it just tears up.
Yeah,
it becomes a mud fest. It becomes, and I grew up in New Jersey, so when this stuff hits, I mean, it makes for some fun football.
Yes,
some fun muddy football. But you got to pay to fix all that stuff.
Yeah, you do. And you know, for even last night, you know, our board was texting, and you know, one of our board members, Andy, was up there, you know, shutting off all the water and draining everything, making sure. And that's what's unique about it. And I'll be honest, for me, that is what I love about MYFA and youth sport. Everybody is volunteered. There's not a single person that is, to my knowledge, and I think this is true, that is getting paid in the MYFA organization. You know, their leadership crew, Rob and Jack and Andy, all they do it for free. And they put their heart and soul into it. And to me, that's what drove me to want to jump in and help them. And when I started talking to Rob, who's the president of MYFA, I was like, look, I think we should do a radio show. You know, our online stuff, you know, we have predictions that come out. A gentleman named Lance does his video photography type for our kids. And I mean, you look at it, it's professionally done. And I'm like, look, people want to talk about sports, and look, we have controversy, you know, every single year. We got, man, some of these mama bear and daddy bears, they will, they will let you know that their kid is the next great thing. And, but you know what?
He's going pro next year.
Yeah.
At the ripe age of 6 years old.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's only 4.
Yeah. But I appreciate that, you know? And so when I was talking to them, I'm like, guys, like let's get this thing going where these parents' voices can be heard. We have a really cool thing with MYFA. We do like predictions and rankings, just as you would see on ESPN or something like that.
Oh, cool.
And we have a guy named Victor. Nobody has ever seen Victor. I think Victor's real.
I'm really excited about this aspect of Victor because we were talking about how, he could call in and remain anonymous, but he can also come in through video and stay anonymous too. And so we talked about doing that, and I'm excited to hear his voice but not see his face.
Yeah, me too. So we as a league, and I'll talk about some of this. So as a league, one of the things that MYFA does, so talking about expenses and stuff, all the games are recorded and they're put up and people. So some parents may or may not know this. This might be, I know this is going to be shared through all of our stuff, but like us as coaches, we're watching film on Saturday and Sundays, breaking film down of the next team we're about to play. I mean, that is how serious this is. It's not just show up and play.
Okay, I mean, that's serious Pee Wee football.
I'm telling you, like
sure.
You're watching game footage.
We were watching, like I have it on my phone. There's a thing we use called Quick Cut. Every coach has access to it in the organization, and on Sundays. So me and I coach with a gentleman named Justin Whitehead, and we're now the 6th grade coaches. And so we move up with our teams as they move up,
cool.
and then start over. So we keep all of our same folks together.
I like that.
With us moving up, we're watching film on Sundays. My wife would tell you that I talk to him more than I talk to her during football season, because we are constantly, hey, what do you think about this? What should we run with this? And what should we do with this? And so it's definitely, it's taken to another level. But, part of that is we have Victor, and I've never met Victor, but we will get notifications. Hey, I was at this game. There are people that look for Victor in the stands.
Oh my gosh.
For sure. And it's one of those type of things that I'm excited to see what he does. And I'll tell you, when he puts his predictions out, there are teams that they will strongly disagree, and they will let us know. And that's one of the aspects I'm really excited to give them their voice to talk about that. And, our early game and season predictions. And for the most part, he's been pretty dead on with his, he's been pretty accurate, every once in a while.
So interesting. So, what's the age range of your players?
Great question. We go flag all the way up to 6th grade.
Okay.
12 years old is kind of that top end. You might have some 13-year-old 6th graders. Flag starts at 4 for us in Burleson. Every town's a little bit different. They might have 5-year-old flags, but we start them early.
Okay.
We start them early, and we get them out there. And
that's the fun time.
Oh man.
That's really it is the fun time. My now 17-year-old, he played some Pee Wee, and he was good, but when you're playing up against, and in the BYSA, we were playing Alito.
Yeah.
And you got a running back who's not so tall, and we're playing up because we didn't have enough guys yet. And he was playing against some guys that were twice the size of him in Pee Wee football. And it's just going, oh my gosh, be fast. Run as fast as you can. And he was super fast.
I need to see that boy's birth certificate to make sure he's there.
Seriously, isn't that how you look at Alito though? It's like, yeah.
Yes.
What are they feeding these kids?
I promise you, it happened in baseball all the time too. I'd be like, there's no way that kid's that age.
So, going up to 6th grade, they're going to age out at that point anyway, because either they're going to change sports, or they're going to continue on. Football starts in 7th grade in middle school, right?
Yes,
that's across the board everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So we clearly didn't get that far in football. They went on to baseball. So it's just exciting to watch it throughout. How many players? You've got a lot of teams in MYFA. But how many players because you have, the number was astounding to me.
We're probably going to push close to 3,000 this year.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's stupid amazing. It's one of those type of things that the number of kids that play youth football and in cheer, we do cheer too. Don't want to leave the cheerleaders out. I can tell you that firsthand. There's great athletes that are cheerleaders out there that, and that is, just speaking on the Burleson side, but I know through all of the other organizations, cheer in and of itself too is an amazing thing.
Right.
We have great in Burleson. We have great cheer directors that put together a great program. And for me, what I would tell you is that the number of kids are growing every single year. Last year I believe we had 260 total tackle football teams.
Wow.
That played. And Toledo's a part of that, and it's crazy to see the size of kids. We went and played in a tournament. You're talking about the size of kids, and my son's a fifth grader, and there was another fifth grader out there. From what I understand, he's pretty well known as Worlds. The kid was bigger than me.
Oh my gosh!
And
in fifth grade,
I'm going, what? And I'm like you. I'm like, where's the birth certificate?
Right.
There ain't no way. Like,
there ain't no way.
But they do all that stuff. But it's really cool to see. And as a coach and as someone that you watch it spread apart. And for Burleson and for all these other towns, we're hoping we're a good stepping stone to get these kids to junior high, to those coaches, and then to high school, and help these places like Aledo and all them win their state championships, right? Because it starts here. I mean, it's these kids get the confidence, and that's the other thing about where we all play. We're playing people that they're going to play in junior high and high school. There's a lot of sports leagues out there. None of them are as big as us. And anytime people talk about, and the reason why towns are always joining us is because you can have a league that I know some towns are playing a league that there's about 4 teams in there, and you play the same 4 teams almost every other week. And it's great for the kids, but when they get in junior high and then they get hit in the face with an Aledo that they've never played before, all of a sudden it's shell shock, or they get hit with White Settlement, who they've never played, or Brock. I mean, Brock's a great football town.
It is a great football town. We've played there.
Town.
Yeah.
And so for me, when I decided for my own personal son where I wanted him to be, that was a deciding factor for me. I wanted him to be somewhere that he's going to play really good competition. So whereas, if he wants to keep playing in junior high and high school, he's been playing this competition. It's not nothing that's new to him. It's not the same 3 or 4 towns every single year. And that's what I respect about the MYFA executive board. They are always going out getting better competition for us to play.
When you go back and talk about the fact that you guys are already watching film with these kids, and I do like that you're doing that. I like that you're taking it that seriously, because that is setting them up for what they're going to be doing in high school, or what they should be doing in high school. And if you're going on to college and you're going and you have dreams of becoming, an NFL player, it's a very small percentage, guys. That's why you want to say, parents, relax. It's a very, very small percentage that makes it up that high, but you're training them to play professionally all the way through and right from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's really smart, because it's important for the kids to see this is how it really happens. I mean, if you're going to invest in this, personally and physically and mentally and emotionally, this is what it takes. I mean, this is all the way to the top.
Yeah.
So speaking of the NFL, have you seen what's going on with the Dolphins? Former coach. What's you got any comment on that? What are your thoughts about what's happening with him and the Belichick texts? And
I commend him for standing up and bringing attention to what's going on. I believe his name's Brian Flores.
Yes.
I think he's I thought he was a great coach in Miami, and so there in the NFL, we've seen this happen with Colin Kaepernick, right?
Right.
And it turned into something that it became a dividing line. And I hope this doesn't turn into that. I hope it's one of those things that investigations are done. I hope that people look at what's happening and they get to the bottom of it, because he is an excellent coach.
He is.
I mean, he is phenomenal.
I think more disturbing of the whole thing, I don't want to say that the racial part of it isn't disturbing.
Sure.
But mixed in with all of that, the fact that they have the owner of the Miami Dolphins would actually tell him, "Hey, I'll pay you $100,000 to lose a game, so that they can be higher ranked in the draft." Is, I mean, that's disturbing. He should be kicked out. He should be kicked out of the NFL for that.
Yeah, and
here, so you're betting against your own team, and here you have a coach who wants to win. And he had 2 amazing seasons and then got fired for it because he wouldn't take the fall money.
And here's what's crazy. That goes against every principle in youth sports.
Absolutely.
And, you know, and I'll just tell you a personal situation. Last year, on our personal football team, we could have lost a game that would have set us up better to go into the playoffs to potentially make a championship run.
Right.
And you know, it was never even a conversation. Like, it was never one of those things that, like, hey, let's go out and, you know, put all the kids in that you know, aren't great football players and let them lose this game. We went out and won that game. And subsequently, we went in the first round of the playoffs and we lost. And if we would have probably went a different direction, we may have made it to the championship round. But that's not something you want to teach kids. And, you
Right.
know, there's a saying, you know, I definitely in football, like, you know, if you're going out there to lose games, people are going to get hurt.
Right.
You know, it's one of those type of situations. And so I agree with you. Obviously, all of the stuff with the racial and all that, I hope that gets worked out and there's serious investigation. But that just goes to show you, you know, some of the stuff that happens in the NFL. And look, I'm a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, NFL fan. Like, I love the Cowboys, but man, there's just some things that make you scratch your head and just go, what in the world is going on? And, you know, this is one of them. This is one of those things.
The sad thing is that I think with the NFL is it's more of a business than about the football and about the players, which, I mean, in the history of it, if you really look at it, it's always been that way.
Yep.
You know, it wasn't about the health and safety of a player. You know, oh, you got a hit on the head, should have been out of the game, but they put him back in and knowing it was a concussion. Now they've been way better about all of that over the past years and stepping up the game too on our kids' helmets.
Yes.
And making those safer. You know, definitely do your due diligence if you're going to, you know, put your kid, boy or girl, into football. Which I love to see.
Oh yeah.
I'm totally love to see it. And just do your due diligence and really know what type of helmet that you're getting, protect your kid's brain. That's, you know, one of the most important things that you can do. And then of course, teach them the game, so that they play for safety.
Yes. And, you know, the MYFA, this is where I cannot praise the MYFA executive board enough. You know, Andy is a rules commissioner of MYFA, and, you know, a lot of the stuff they do is about the kids' safety. You know, part of not only do we watch film, but there are games that can be challenged and the referees will go back and look at film. You know, there's things of that nature where, you know, if a kid does late hits or something like that, I mean, there are suspensions in our league. There's suspensions for coaches in our league. It's when I tell you we take
this is serious.
This is serious football,
serious.
Right? And it's one of those type of things.
Which in Texas,
it's
serious.
Texas. It's Texas. But you know, we take the safety of it. There, I know in Burleson we had a couple of female football players that played, and you know, even us as coaches, I can speak for the town of Burleson. Look, we know the kids that have been playing for years. That, you know, when we do our tackle drills, we could line them up against a kid that's never played, and they're gonna knock the crap out of them.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't do that, right?
Right.
Kids that haven't played, we pair them up and ease them into it, and the kids that have and understand their form tackling, that's the good stuff that we do.
All right, you gonna stay with us after the break?
Yeah.
All right,
sure.
talk some more. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with Mike with MYFA.
Abnormal realities.
I love my mom.
Yep. She sent me a message.
My mom did?
Yeah, Wednesday night. And she invited me over tomorrow night to watch Titanic and share a bowl of popcorn. And I accepted.
You did?
Yep.
That'd be fun.
And she calls it Chaps Only Night. Every Saturday night.
Look.
Miss Dixie,
Look,
how you doing? He said, it's my mom, bro. All right, it's my mom.
I want to hear the answer to the Titanic and popcorn. Go ahead, Mom. What's up?
Oh!
Hi, boys.
Hi,
I just
Mom.
wanted to ask Rocky if he wanted butter on that popcorn or not.
I would
my
rather
God.
have the butter somewhere else, but if popcorn's the only place I can have it, I'll take it.
Jeez,
Hey,
dude.
nobody says I can't roll around in it for a little bit.
All right, Mom.
That is my
love
girl.
you.
I love you,
Mom.
Dixie.
Abnormal realities
My mom, love you.
Dixie.
Bye. I love you too.
with Ron and Rocky. Weekdays, 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. on JoCo Community Radio.
Holy crap.
I was would like to personally invite you out to the Blue Family Fund Casino Night. An evening of all your favorite casino games, next level auction items, great music, and an open bar. February 26th, 7 p.m. at the beautiful TX Whiskey Ranch in Fort Worth, Texas. All proceeds from the evening will benefit families of first responders. You need to get your tickets today at bluefamilyfund.org.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395, 800-709-4395.
The voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
Hey, welcome back to the second half of JoCo Vibes here on JoCo Community Radio. JoCo Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen, simply go to tuneinjoco.com and download the free TuneIn app. That's right, it is free. Just hit the little faded X in the top right. Soon, you will actually be going to our very own app on Android and iOS. It'll be available in your iTunes store, and Google will take you directly to JoCo Community Radio. We're super excited about that, and we'll let you know when those are both up and live. We are also streaming live, video streaming live simultaneously on YouTube, Twitter, beta for LinkedIn, and then, of course, on Facebook. And you can also hear us live on Spreaker.com as well. And any show, any repeat of any one of our shows can also be found at any one of your favorite podcast platforms, such as Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, and, of course, on Spreaker. Just search for the show title on any one of those. Give them a follow, give them a like, and they'll pop up anytime that you are in your app. Check out our lineup and more at jococommunityradio.com. It'll tell you everything that we do. Thanks for tuning in. This episode and more brought to you by Next Level Claims, making your insurance work for you. Here we go with ice and storms and crazy stuff happening. Hail happens. You've got to have someone ready to advocate for you with your own insurance company when that happens, because 99% of the time, they don't want to pay 100% of the claim that you need. So these guys are here to help you, and gals are here to help you advocate with your insurance company to make sure that that gets paid properly. So reach out to your local representative, Nona Reed. Call her toll free at 844-TEX-HAIL. That's 844-TEX-HAIL, and get her in your corner before the next storm hits. So thanks again, guys, for tuning in and joining us here on JoCo Community Radio. If you are here for the first time, be sure to give us a like on our Facebook page so you know what's going on. Follow us on YouTube. Just search for JoCo Community Radio and subscribe. We would really appreciate that. I'm Tiffany Carlin with Nona Reed, and we've got Mike with MYFA, also the owner here locally in Burleson of Jam Sports, which has been, that's been a foundation of this community for a long time. Jam Sports has been in business here how long?
Oh man. Well, it started back probably 10 or 15 years ago. It's gone through a couple of ownership changes. We actually have a big change also that's come in that can't
tell us yet.
Announce yet. I will tell you one division that has branched off is Versus Sports. And the Versus Sports, we are doing youth uniforms from basketball, baseball, football, of course, all of that type of stuff. Actually, NFL style jerseys. And that is a branch of Jams that I'm taking and moving into the youth world. And then Jams has a really cool thing that's coming. Matter of fact, it went down yesterday with another local company that's been here for, a long time. I don't know if I can say it yet,
Okay,
but
okay.
I will. It's going to be really
Off
really
air?
cool.
Off air, do
I'll
I
t-
get
yeah,
info?
I'll tell you
Okay.
off air. We signed on it yesterday, and so basically we are taking Jams now and splitting it up. And I don't know the Jams name's going to be around anymore, but we're splitting up and moving into a bunch of different directions to serve the community, and it's going to be awesome.
Fantastic.
I-
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Yes.
the Versus is already up and running, so I can speak about that. So if there's any towns or listening that needs uniforms for sports, that's what we do, and we're really excited, and we actually partnered with a company called Locker Room, to where with the youth sports, we're actually bringing in D1 college athletes to help train our kids in the off season to do camps.
Wow,
and
that's
stuff
awesome.
like that. So it's really really
That's
cool.
really cool.
Big stuff. If you can't tell, my passion is youth sports and kids and growth, and so we're excited.
Well, what I love to see about that too. I'm sorry.
No, I was just
You
going to
sure?
say, would you let us know where you're located? Because I know a lot of people remember where y'all first located.
Yeah.
Of course, that building's no longer there, and construction has started on the new businesses going there. But I hadn't been in a while
Yeah.
because my kid's not in sports anymore. He's not in having to wear uniforms, and so I really hadn't gone there. And so you and I talked earlier. Kind of just let us know
Yeah,
where
so
you're at.
we're in Old Town off of James off of Commerce Street. So if you're going into Old Town, cross over the railroad tracks, you'll see the big Gypsy Trunk building, also a staple there in Old Town. The building's right across the street from that.
Okay.
Those are all I have multiple different businesses that are over there, but we're right there.
Awesome.
And so it's honestly just right down the road from us from there. And then our expansion will continue expanding out in that area as well. So we're excited about that and the
Wonderful.
growth and what's happening in our community. We really are.
I really like it too. So in this new way that you guys are going to kind of be splitting up more job opportunities.
Yes, there definitely will be. There will be. Matter of fact, we put out a thing just the other day of hiring. We need people, so anybody listening needs a job in Burleson, contact us, please.
All right, fantastic.
For sure. But definitely job opportunities as we continue to grow. Look, serving these towns with sports, and we have some towns out in West Texas that we're already getting signed up to do their uniforms for. We have local private schools that we're doing their sports uniforms for, and we're going to need help. There's no doubt about it.
What kind of experience are you needing in the people that you're going to be hiring?
None.
At Jams.
None.
Jams, soon to be possibly some different names.
No experience required. I mean, I'm one of those. So I've a couple of different businesses we have. I prefer to train people and have people train versus some people come in set in their ways, and I like starting from the ground up. It's one of those things. I feel like it makes people better at what they do.
Mhm.
So I like starting from the ground up. We're going to need salespeople. One of the things going after these organizations in Versus, we'll be calling on organizations, putting bids in, going out, visiting their boards, taking them. Last night we were out at dinner with Midlothian and talking with those guys and bought those guys dinner, had a great conversation, talked football, laughed, put out sample uniforms. And so we're going to need salespeople to go out and do stuff like that.
How many years has MYFA been around?
So MYFA's in its second year. So great question.
Gosh, you've grown. I mean, you've
They've-
grown
I
this
know.
much in 2 years.
Yeah. So
that speaks a lot to a
Right during the whole
nonprofit
COVID pandemic
Yep.
too.
Yeah, but as a youth organization to grow this fast to 3,000 players and how many teams?
there were 260 last year.
That's I mean, it's really unheard of to grow that fast and during a pandemic. How did you guys do it?
Yeah, so this is once again hats off to the leadership, Andy, Rob, Jack, Bobby Martin, who's was a part of the health growth last year. So there used to be an organization called Brazos Valley, and then
Okay, I've heard of that.
North Central Texas. And what they did is they decided to join up. And they went through, long story short, trial and error. And then, hats off to all those guys that worked on it. When I tell you the executive team of MYFA spent thousands of hours, that is not an exaggeration, because when you join up with the new youth sports organization, you've got to create new bylaws. You got to create rules that appeases the old Brazos Valley group of people and the old North Central Texas group of people, and then all these other ones, new towns that come in. So you got to have rules because, give you one example. Some people like age pure, some people like grade pure. Some people are like, look, we want it. If they're a fifth grader, you play for fifth grade. Some people are like, no, we want it 11 and under for fifth grade or 12 and under for sixth grade. And so the executive team, which what I love about the executive team board, they make zero decisions. Everything's voted on by the towns. All they do is bring data, information, and they say, hey, this is what we're seeing in the league. And then a town rep. So like Burleson's town rep is Kevin Craig.
Okay.
He'll go to the meetings, and obviously he's going to help push and vote for what helps Burleson. But these town reps get in there and they have these conversations about, okay, this is what's best, or we should do this, or you know what, let's do this for the safety of the kids. And so the town reps run the organization. All the executive board does is they steer the ship. If I can say it like that, hopefully they don't get mad at me saying that, but they steer the ship, right? They make sure that, there's footballs available. Last year there was a cool camp put on by Jermichael Finley, multiple Pro Bowler, played for the Packers. They had a huge camp put on. They get game sites for like 7-on-7. So last year, I believe we were at like Fort Worth Christian in Fort Worth, had an opportunity to play over there and develop some relationships. And, they pour hours over data in, designs and concepts. And, look, it's finicky because it takes one, to be honest with you, it takes one person in one town to get upset, and there's no money exchanged here. So you don't have to stay a part of MYFA. I mean, a town could up and leave tomorrow and say, hey, you know what? We're going back to playing this 4-team league. And so for these guys, what they do on the board, I mean, they're like super glue. You get someone a little upset over here, they're over here. You get someone and bringing those guys together. And to me, it's incredible. As a person, I like watching businesses grow. It's incredible. And what they've done in 2 years to grow where they've got, it blows my mind.
It's really amazing. For a lot of nonprofit organizations, especially for youth sports, this sounds like one of the best organized ones I've seen in a long time. I think a lot of nonprofit boards get too top heavy.
Yes.
They start out with 15 board members, and it's difficult to get 15 people to agree on what's best.
Yep.
So I like how you have how many executive board members?
4.
So you have 4 executive board members, and then everything below is a town representative.
Yeah.
Right.
So each town has a representative that goes in, and they vote based off of running the organization. So, and they're the only people that have votes. The executive board actually cannot vote, which I love.
I think that's fantastic.
Personally, I love that. You being around non-for-profits, sometimes you can get in boards and they've got their own agenda of what to do. That doesn't happen here, right? I mean, we have a meeting, I believe, this Sunday, weather permitting, and when we go set in the meeting, they'll read off the topics, and it's all controlled by the people on the floor, and they're the ones that vote to bring us in or out of the changes that we make for the upcoming season. Now they can make suggestions as the executive board, but one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So something got suggested, but nobody at the town reps wanted to motion it, and it died. And it's like, so it doesn't matter what agenda they may or may not have. There's nothing that executive board can do.
Gosh, could you imagine if a chamber of commerce
oh my word
works like that?
That's a whole nother show.
Yeah. Well, trust me, I know very personally.
I'd love to talk about that. That's a whole nother show.
Hey, I got voted off that show by 200 people who didn't even know me, and who weren't even a good portion that weren't even members of the chamber. So I say that tongue in cheek, but it's really truthfully, that's who should be voting. It shouldn't be the executive board. It shouldn't be the board. It should be the members who are paying to be a part of that board. And in this case, it's not the towns, like you said, it's not a town that's paying to be a member of MYFA. It's the individual players. Yeah. And so the kids are invested. The parents are invested, and you guys are most definitely everybody's invested. And so they have a voice. And I think that that's absolutely fantastic. I have not seen that truly done. You hear it, being a part of rec baseball, the BYA for a long time. come to the meetings, participate. And I do, don't quote me on that, but I think we have a vote in the BYA, but I can't quite remember. I have to ask the president. But I haven't really seen that before. I think that's really powerful. So I mean, hats off to you guys for doing all of these amazing things. If you guys are just joining in, Jam Sports owner at the table. Now, you're not on the board?
No. So I was just voted in this past week, and I say voted in. I wanted to help, so I went to the board, and everything you just described was the way that I seen it. And I was like, man, I want to get involved in, and public boards like this, or when they share their financials, I can just tell you on the bottom line, there's not money there. There's not, they're not swimming in hundreds of thousands of dollars. And every year we come across stuff we need. Look, MYFA's getting big enough that it should have its own facilities one day. I'm a dreamer. That's the way I am. And so I went to Rob and to Andy and to Jack, and I said, look, I want to help. Like, I want to get involved in, building businesses, and marketing is what I do. And I told them about my thought of having a radio show, and hopefully getting people that want to donate and advertise on the radio show to help us raise money. And they're like, yeah. So no, there's nothing. I'm not on the executive board. There's nothing. Matter of fact, I don't even get to vote. I do go to the meetings just to hear what's going on and more for content, but I don't even get a vote. It's I go with our town rep, Kevin, and just sit there and listen. And matter of fact, I don't know that I've said 2 words in the meetings except to promote this show, and that's okay by me. I am perfectly fine by that, because these guys know what they're doing. And what I'm hoping that happens is the word gets out. I'm not sure how BYA votes. I know their board votes, and they've got commissioners, but I'm hoping word gets out about this, that businesses will step up in the community. Hopefully this COVID stuff is coming down. And, we even talked about it as a board. Yes, we want people to help and, potentially sponsor to MYFA and stuff like that. But, even to the personal towns, we want to help these towns grow to where they can invest in their kids, because I cannot tell you how many kids just in Burleson alone that we scholarship to play football that we pay for. And I know we're not the only town that does that. I know all the listed towns that are on there. And so, they do care. I'll never say that MYFA is perfect. There's some things that have happened that I've personally disagreed with, as far as, what they want to do. And, but you know what, at the end of the day, it has worked out, and it's always been something that's been beneficial for the coaches, the kids, all the organizations that are involved, and that's why they're growing. I mean, I don't see how this engine gets stopped anytime soon.
No, not with the way you guys have grown in 2 years. I mean, seriously, it's really, really amazing.
Yeah.
You talked about being, in marketing, and you're an entrepreneur.
Yes.
There's nothing better than having entrepreneurs part of an organization like this, because you're not an entrepreneur unless you're passionate about growing your own business. And so when you get into an organization like this, for the kids and for the parents, and the community, this is big, and you've got to have that same kind of passion, and you most definitely do. So I was super excited when you called me, because 1, I didn't know about MYFA. 2, I think you and I may have met years ago through my sister Tamara, who was doing screen printing and stuff at the time. Yeah. And because I recognized your face, but I was like, it had to have been years ago, back when you were in the old location picking up shirts for my sister, is probably what I'm thinking.
Possibly, yeah. I've been around Burleson, so I graduated from Burleson High School, so I've been around here for a long time. So I'm sure we've crossed paths. I've one thing about Burleson, it seems like nobody leaves.
Yeah, well, I moved here 25 years ago, and borrowed a bedroom for my sister when I first moved here, because she was already here. And worked at Sammy's Pizza and Pasta.
Okay,
I think they had just opened. And in fact, Tamara and I both worked there. And then I did leave for a hot minute, moved to the mid-cities, moved to Fort Worth, worked in Dallas. And then my job and soon-to-be husband took me to Lubbock for 9 years. And then guess what? I came back. So there's something about Burleson that makes people want to stay here. And the more people that I meet who graduated from high school here and stayed,
Yeah.
it's really rare these days. I mean, clearly I came from New Jersey and, left and moved to Florida and moved to Pittsburgh and, eventually landed here, but this is where I came to. So it speaks volumes when you hear people who graduated from high school, started their business here, and continued that passion. And now you're part of an organization that is for the youth. It's growing. It helps the community. It just speaks a lot to you and to wanting to be here in your hometown.
Yeah, there are great, not just in Burleson, but these towns, Cleburne and Brock and Decatur and Eaton. There are really good people still in this world. And I think sometimes that gets lost with everything that goes on. I mean, no matter where you stand on the political game or where you stand on COVID or where you stand on, every conspiracy theory in the world, there are still good people in this world.
Yes, there is.
And what I can tell you with MYFA is that there's very few people I've met through MYFA in the towns, even as far as other towns leadership. Like we will go out and this past couple of weeks we've been out with several towns. We got to go out to Mineral Wells and eat at this really good Mexican food restaurant, and then man, we ate this Italian food. We went out there twice, and I don't remember what it's called. If Jack's listening, he might could text me and tell me. We're out with Jack, and he's a minister out in Mineral Wells. And what was crazy is we're sitting there eating, and I'm just watching. People would come in, and Jack would wave and say hi to him, and it's like, man, like there are good people. Like you wouldn't think that, right? You would think that it's like this world's going to hell in a handbasket.
Right.
Hopefully that's okay to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
This is okay.
that's the truth, though. I mean, if that's what you're focusing on, when you're on social media, when you're watching the news, or whether it's local or national, whatever, if that's what you're focusing on, then that's what you're going to see and think about a place. And I'm sad for people who do that, because there are amazing people in this world.
Yeah.
And we just need to continue to lift each other and stick together, by the way, because the more that we talk about the good people and the wonderful things that are happening in our communities, the more that becomes contagious, and it becomes a domino effect, and we're making it happen. Are we all perfect at it all the time? No, absolutely. We're not. I mean, I'm certainly not. And you might see the good in hopefully you see the good that I'm doing, and the same thing for each person at this table. But if you're focusing on areas where I've made mistakes or things that I've said that you didn't like, then that's what you're going to get from it.
Yeah.
So
you get one shot at it. You get all of us get one shot at life. And the thing about, and I keep going back to MYFA, but the thing about them that I love is that their ability to work together. And like I said, there are obviously disagreements, but the people, and that's what just blew my mind about, watching these folks work. And have there been disagreements? Yeah. Have there been heated disagreements? Of course. I mean, we're talking youth football. All of our kids are going to the NFL one day, right? So, we're millions of dollars are on the line for future paychecks that we're all spending in our head. But the reality of it is that what I can tell you is the more and more people that I meet through MYFA, the more they care, the more that they just want their kids to have a good time. And honestly, football, just like theater, just like anything else, when you're out on that field, whether you're coaching, whether you're playing, whether you're cheering, it's an hour and a half to 2 hour escape from reality.
Yes.
You stop thinking about what you've seen on the news. You stop thinking about, what may have happened to the kids at school. You stop thinking about, bills that are due as a parent, and you're out there and everybody has the same focus to go play a game, to go win a game, to cheer good. And that is what I love about it. It is that these guys are so focused on bringing that to these kids. They are so focused on bringing these kids the best experience they can have. Because look, half these kids at 6th grade, they're done. I mean, you talked about your son that went on and did other things outside of football. Most of these kids are not going to play in junior high or high school. this is it. So, we want to give experience to these children that when they go out there and they play in a Super Bowl, I mean, you guys should see, I should have brought it with you, the rings that MYFA gets for Super Bowl winners.
Oh, wow.
I mean, they are massive. I'm talking covers 3 fingers that are on there. And it's not real diamonds and stuff, but I
Right.
guarantee they spend $120 probably on these rings. I'm guestimating for these kids to win a Super Bowl. They present them out there on the field to them.
Cool.
And my son's part of 7-on-7 team that got a ring last year, and he got his first Super Bowl ring a couple of years ago here for Burleson. And literally, I mean, they're holding those rings out, taking pictures with their kids. For some of these kids, that is as high as a football level that they're going to get.
Right.
And in my opinion, why not give them the best?
Absolutely.
Give them the best.
Well, and they have that. I mean, you keep it. We've got a few rings, from winning in baseball, and it's something that the kids are going to keep for the rest of their life. And if that's the end of baseball for them, they've got it. Like, you went out big.
Yeah.
You went out big.
Mhm.
So for anybody who's just joining in, MYFA After the Whistle will be live with Mike on Fridays at 4 p.m. CST. Perfect drive time after you pick up your kids, your middle school kids. You can tune in here on TuneIn Radio, Spreaker, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, soon to be on LinkedIn, and so much more. We've got lots of cool stuff doing it. So you want to download the app, follow us on our social media pages, subscribe to us on YouTube, and you're going to take call-ins on the show eventually?
Yeah. So, quick plug for this Friday. The executive board is going to be here this Friday for the first show.
Weather
permitting.
Weather
Yes.
permitting, either at the table or you'll come in through streaming.
Yeah, we will figure
But
it
you'll
out.
still be on the radio. We can do it either way. So we can do this virtually if we need to. I don't want you guys to have to wait because your 7-on-7's starting soon.
We're practicing. So yeah, the executive board will be here Friday, and I'm excited about it. So they'll be here to take people's questions online. If they can post them, it'll be shared out. And you can hear firsthand the passion these guys have for our kids.
So excited. I'm so glad that you guys are joining the JoCo team. 30 seconds left. Who's your pick for the Super Bowl?
Oh man.
Bengals or Rams? Who you got?
I gotta go Burrow. I like him. I mean, if I had to put money on, I'm putting money on the Rams, but I'm rooting for Burrow.
Awesome. So glad that you joined us. Thank you again. Thank you guys for joining us here. We would have told you everything that was going on in JoCo for the rest of the week, but everything's weather permitting.
Yeah.
Hang tight. We'll see you back here
Be
tomorrow
safe.
morning. Have a great day.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, JoCo Community Radio.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Ahead of Friday's release of the government's January jobs report, a private report from payroll